Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. The Xbox has a ton of excellent RPGs and we have talked about them in this series a few times. From Fable to Jade Empire, this series has covered some classics, and if you're interested in those, be sure to click the links below for the other parts of the series. But today I picked 5 games from a wide range of choices. Some are third-party titles, one's an exclusive, and there's multiple different styles of role-playing game in this video. So let's look at even more RPGs on the original Xbox. All footage today was captured on an original Xbox, and I want to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. Now let's go ahead and jump on in. The first game on today's list is The Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. This game was released on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox in 2004. It was developed by EA Redwood and published by EA Games. The Third Age is tied to the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, but does not follow the story strictly. It shows more background information and has you playing characters who roughly follow behind the main stories of the film. I stress the film because EA only had the rights to make the games based on movies, not the books. Exploring the books would have been extraordinary, but even with that said, we have a great Lord of the Rings RPG here. If you like turn-based RPGs like Final Fantasy X, and are disappointed by the lack of turn-based games on the Xbox, you get that with the Third Age. It's precisely like Final Fantasy X, with combat that's expected of the turn-based genre. Something that I always enjoy, and I get a kick out of it. I will say this game is a bit on the easier side, but it does have its difficulty spikes. If you like turn-based stuff, I found this one constantly to be engaging, and there are special fight moments that use the terrain, such as enemies only being reachable by ranged attacks. The leveling system is fun too, and if you use certain moves a lot, it'll upgrade into getting even more special moves. The part of the RPG experience I like the most in this game is the sheer amount of equipment that you get. You have tons of equipment slots and weapons to throw on your characters, and that can change their stats dramatically. It's never overwhelming because the game has a subcategory for equipment selection just for the newest ones obtained. On top of that, it actually changes how the character looks, which is awesome. The game looks incredible too. Lord of the Rings games in the 6th generation usually did, and this one is another stellar entry. It has a realistic look and a darker style that makes characters and enemies pop out from their environments. You explore many of the exact locations visited in the movies, and they are replicated lovingly in this game. The art design team that worked on recreating the locations did an excellent job. Half of the fun is just exploring the world and taking in the incredible music. It uses Howard Shore's score, which is one of the best film scores ever made. It fits the adventure and epic battles perfectly. You couldn't ask for better music to accompany the game. If I had one complaint, it would be the story. The main story is solid and engaging, but a lot of the plot is told by showing movie scenes with Gandalf narrating. You're not an active participant in the plot of the movies for a large portion of the game, and it feels like it's spoon-feeding you the plot. I would have loved to have seen the main characters get fleshed out more. What we have isn't bad though, and it works well enough to keep you going through the game's great combat. Another fun addition to this game is the evil mode that lets you play the story mode as the enemies, and that's a fun touch that ups the replay value. All around, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, The Third Age is well worth checking out, and if you want a great looking turn-based RPG experience on the Xbox, you have a fun one here too. This is an RPG that I recommend giving a shot. Next is an Xbox exclusive RPG with Blackstone Magic and Steel, developed by XPEC and published in North America by Zycat Interactive. It was released in 2003. This game always surprised me with its anime art style cover because it does not hold true to that cover. It's a Japanese RPG, but it's not turn-based. It is a top-down action RPG dungeon crawler. You pick from 6 different classes with different characters in each, and you roll through various areas, attacking every creature and reaching the end. Blackstone is a simplistic game. Once you play a little bit of it, you know what you're getting for the rest of the playtime. It doesn't have a solid story to follow and gets a bit wordy in the text crawl cutscenes. It's an RPG that focuses more on its gameplay than the plot. You get to pick between a warrior, thief, pirate, warlock, and archer class with unique abilities. I enjoyed the archer class because her strong arrow use makes this game a breeze. The controls are stiff in this game though. Movement never works perfectly, and hits do register, but it has really short, weird animations. It's definitely on the cheaper end of the spectrum, but it does fine for what it is. You slay hordes of enemies as they flow at you. It can be fun, and I think building up stats through power-ups found in dungeons and going through the labyrinths crafted for you has a solid simplicity. If you like arcade titles like Gauntlet, then this should be up your alley. And the multiplayer aspect is here too. You can build up a crew and play with your friends locally, and any game enjoyed with a group is just a little bit better. It's mindless enough to keep a group entertained. Alone though, this game loses its fun after a bit. It's the same slaying enemies with light pickups the entire playtime, and the combat isn't doing anything that interesting. You can cast spells, but they're simple, and the combat is a button mashing fest. The constant respawning of enemies is egregious too. Games like this tend to keep you interested by having outstanding elements in other departments to keep you intrigued, like presentation, but it's not here. It's all around either mediocre or just okay. The graphics are mediocre. It supports 480p on the Xbox, but I noticed a lot of clipping and emptiness in environments that makes it feel rushed. There is a variety in locales, but none are full enough to keep you wanting to see what the game throws at you next. There are dinosaurs in this game though, so I'd say that's pretty cool. Overall, Blackstone is a lackluster action RPG on the console. It does nothing outstanding, making it a weak package. This is really only a good idea with friends, but even then, if you want a top-down RPG on the Xbox, you have many better choices, even one that I'm going to cover later on in this list. I hate being so negative, but no aspect of this game really sticks out for me to particularly praise, even if it's not technically horrible. I think you could do better on the Xbox, and with prices raising higher and higher for this game, I feel like it's becoming less and less worth getting. Next on the list is a third-person action RPG called Enclave. Enclave was developed by Starbreeze Studios and published by Conspiracy Games in North America and Swing Entertainment in Europe. It was released in 2002 for the original Xbox and stayed there until the Windows port in 2003. It has since been ported to the Wii and has had an HD remaster in 2023. Enclave is a neat RPG that has a great classic feel to it. It plays like a classic sword-fighting 3D game that was popular on the PC at that time. You hack, slash, and shoot arrows at hordes of goblins in wonderfully designed tight levels. This is not an open world game. Instead, you go level by level, pick up gold, which is used to strengthen your character. You use the gold so you can get better and stronger equipment loadouts whenever you go into a level. And you can also swap characters for ones that may be more agile or stronger. The thing that I love about this game is the level design. It's full of tight but intricately detailed levels that are great to explore. So many levels let you on rooftops or go places you don't really need to go. It adds an element of feeling like you're going places you shouldn't, like you're breaking the game almost, especially when compared to other linear-styled games at the time. And looking through the many rooms you explore is fun. These rooms are full of details, and there never feels like there's an empty, blank shell. The combat is pretty simple, with simple over-the-shoulder aiming and sword swinging. It's quite a bit of fun, and taking on enemies with the slower sword movement is difficult but feels satisfying. It's as simple as a story as you can get for an RPG, with you being a freed prisoner taking on evil forces threatening the land. The plot is not the focus, but it still does a great job of having fun characters. It could have easily been a hack and slash fest, but it has some cutscene moments and characters to talk to that really makes it feel like a fantasy adventure. The game also looks solid, supporting 480p and widescreen on the Xbox. There are some frame rate issues, and you will see noticeable drops when there's many characters on screen, but it's never detrimental. I never felt like it ruined my gameplay experience. If you like sword combat and well-designed levels, Enclave has all of that. Throw in that it has an incredible orchestral score that gives it an epic adventure feeling. It also has an easy to understand but genuinely challenging combat system. It's a hard to master game, but it's fun. There's something about games with a smaller level design that feel like an intricate maze that I just love. It's not about bland open areas, but ensuring every moment has something to do. And it's a joy to explore what Enclave offers, and it's a fun game all around. It's a unique RPG on the Xbox that's worth checking out. Next up is another top-down action RPG with X-Men Legends. This game was released for the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox in 2004. It was published by Activision and developed by Raven Software. This game has you playing as a team of mini X-Men as you take on Magneto, who is trying to cover the Earth in darkness. It has a fun comic book plot, and the X-Men are some of my favorite comic book characters, and they fit right into this universe. It has an excellent selection of mutants, from mainstays like Cyclops and Wolverine to some of my favorites like Nightcrawler and Jubilee, each with unique abilities that you can level up and choose how you put them onto the hero. It allows you to customize the heroic team however you want fully, and you can build the team with the mutants you enjoy playing. This allows you to swap with each mutant on the fly, and if you want, you can play this game cooperatively, which will make this game even more fun. The combat is simple with easy to learn button mashing combos, but each mutant feels exactly like they are in the comics. Each have unique powers tied to them, and it's fun to use them just to see what powers they brought into the game. There's also a fun combo system where if two different characters use their powers at the same time, it can create a dynamic result. And I think there's a lot of creativity with a lot of these combos. This is an example of a simple game, but it feels so good to play that it stays addicting. Each hit feels excellent, and the enemy types are nice and varied to keep it engaging. The same goes for all the places you visit, with a wide variety of places to go, like cities and frozen over forests. It also looks fantastic on the Xbox with 720p HD support and widescreen. The cel-shaded look shines through in this game, and I love seeing how bright everything is here. They don't go for a dark, depressing look, but instead something ripped straight out of the pages of the comics. I always appreciate that angle. Most environments are full of destructible objects, which makes them feel dynamic, and they have hidden objects to pick up everywhere. The levels can get long, but it's not a bad deal when there is so much stuff to explore. This game has a simple action control scheme and plays well, but its added stats element and great look give it lasting power. This and its sequel are games that I still see get brought up to this day, and I understand why. This one just stays engaging even when playing alone, and with other people, this game will be a blast with everyone going around and destroying things as their favorite mutant. This is a great pickup for any fan of action RPGs, not just fans of comic books.
You are destined to lose, X-Men!
Thanks for playing.
Impossible!
Right.
The final game on today's list is Pirates of the Caribbean, a pirate RPG released for PC and Xbox in 2003 to coincide with the release of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It was published in North America by Bethesda and in Europe by Ubisoft and developed by Enclave. Sid Meier's Pirates is the most famous pirate RPG on the Xbox, but I thought it would be fun to talk about this one since it's an odd but enjoyable release. It's also a console exclusive, having only come out on the Xbox and PC. This game is loosely tied to the movie and ride of the same name, but it's more about getting riches and openly exploring the pirate universe. You play as Nathaniel Hawke, and your goal is to control the Caribbean by gaining riches from exporting goods. Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean is all about exporting and trading goods, hopping from one island, buying them cheap, and selling them elsewhere for a higher profit. Making more profit means getting better crewmates and a better ship. You do this to take on more treacherous waters and explore more of the globe. It's not a movie game, how you'd expect it, where you're playing the movie's scenes, but it's more about exploring the themes and the world in which the film exists in. It's mainly because this game was not conceived as a movie game. In Russia, it doesn't even have this title. It's called Sea Dogs 2. This game is the sequel to a pirate RPG that was only on PC and was directly inspired by Sid Meier's Pirates. This game is a little clunky though, with controls that don't work as well on controller. There are many menus to scroll through, and the combat on foot is just okay. The boat combat is really interesting though, and it has a steep learning curve. It can feel great once you get it down. There's something about moving around from the many ports and islands that I do enjoy, and taking in each city's different buildings to walk into, learning what they have in stock, and figuring out where to take it adds a cool strategy to everything. It's a slow-paced experience, but it allows you to get deep into the role of a pirate and explore the world in which it takes place in. It's exploratory, which is something that I always like. It runs at 480p on the console and has a unique look. It's not a standout looking game with some frame rate issues, but exploring the towns is neat, and they do nail the island aesthetic down perfectly. The music is excellent here too, with great shanty feeling songs that really settle you into the world. It's a great role-playing experience on the console, and it feels different, especially for a movie tie-in game. I feel like the movie tie-in element could have been a detriment to sales maybe, because many people have dire outlooks on movie games. And this one beats those odds, but it's also nothing like the movie, so it's something completely different. It's an interesting and pretty cool merchant and pirate simulation title. But that does wrap it up for today for RPGs on the Xbox Part 3. Be sure to watch the other two parts. The links are going to be in the comments if you're interested in those. Leave a comment with what I should cover next in the series. Be sure to like, as it really helps out my channel. Subscribe to keep up with the retro Xbox content. And I want to give a shout out to my YouTube channel members, campers, and camp counselors. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.